Okay, we're going to start with three 3D shapes. They're called prisms, cylinders, and spheres. So we're going to start with the prisms first. A prism is it's a three-dimensional object. It's going to be named by the bases. So if I have a prism, so you see the prism down on the paper, that's called a triangular prism because the two bases are triangles. And the bases aren't exactly what it lays down on. So you can see that this figure down below is laying down on a rectangle. So it's not a rectangular prism. So the bases aren't necessarily what it sits on. The bases are the two shapes that only repeat once. Okay, so there's only two triangles. So there could be a triangular prism. There could be a rectangular prism. There could be an octagonal prism. So prisms are named by their bases. It's really important for you to remember as you go and look at other pictures and talk about the difference between lateral area and surface area. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about that now. Lateral area is everything but the bases. So again, if I look and refer back down to the picture down below, this image of the triangular prism, if I'm talking about everything but the base, think to yourself right now about what shapes those other sides are. Those sides are rectangles. So like I said, those other sides that are not the triangles, that's a rectangle. The one on the bottom is a rectangle. And then the one on the slant is a rectangle as well. So those are what we call faces. Okay, so you got bases and you have faces. The lateral area is everything, all the faces added together. Then surface area is your lateral area, so your faces, plus the area of the bases. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at this example right now. Let's go ahead and find the lateral area first. So like I said, lateral area is everything but the bases. So we've got three rectangles. So just think to yourself right now and see if you can figure out the dimensions of the rectangles. So you've got the one on the bottom, if you said a 4 by 6, that's correct. So to find the area of that, I'm going to multiply 4 times 6. Then I've got this one on the back side that's going up and down. That's a 3 by 6 because this 6 will be everywhere that's going kind of the front to back. Okay, connecting the two bases, that's always going to be 6. So I'm going to add another 3 times 6. And then the top piece is still going to be something by 6, but I don't know this length here. Well, it's a right triangle. I know two sides. I'm going to use the old dead guy's theorem, the Pythagorean theorem, to find out that length of the third side. Okay, so you use Pythagorean theorem, that side's going to be 5. So then I add 5 times 6, and I'm going to add them all together. So 24 plus 18 plus 30. So that's going to be 72 centimeters. Okay, so this is your lateral area. So now your surface area, you're going to take your lateral area and you're going to include the two bases. So surface area equals your lateral area, so 72. And then the two bases are triangles, so I'm going to add in 2 times 1/2 BH. So the area of the triangle in the front here that I'm lining in black, I have 3 times 4. So I have 72 plus 2 times 1/2, 4 times 3. So that's going to be 72 plus 12, which is 84 centimeters squared. And this lateral area should be centimeters squared as well. So that's surface area and lateral area. So you're finding the area of all the different parts. Okay, you're not, there is no formula, there is no one-site way to do it. You're just finding the area of the bases and finding the area of the faces. That's about as much as I can tell you here. The last thing that you need to find with cylinders is what we call volume. Volume is the amount of space in an object, or amount of space an object takes up. So in the volume, and this goes for any prism that has two bases, you're going to take the area of the base, whatever the base is, whether that's an octagon, a triangle, a square, a rectangle, whatever it is, the area of the base, and you're going to multiply it by the height. Okay? The height, make a note here that the height connects the two bases. Okay, sometimes students get confused because of the direction that the shape is laying, if it's laying down or if it's standing up. Alright, so now let's go ahead and try and find the volume. So again, I'm looking for the area of the base, which is a triangle, so I'm going to find the area of the triangle. So 1/2 the base times the height. That's for the area of the base, and now I'm going to multiply it by the height. So this is what I was talking about, the distance between the two bases. So here's that front base that I colored it in black. Here's the back base that I'm coloring in black again. The length that connects the two is this 6 line. That's going to connect them everywhere. So the height of this figure is going to be 6. So then if I multiply all this together, let's see, I'm going to get 36. So 36 centimeters cubed. Okay, so those are prisms. Now, cylinders are the same type of thing. So cylinders in real life, you'll see those as like soup cans, as water bottles, sometimes candles are in the shape of a cylinder. So there's a lot of cylinders going on. So if we're finding the lateral area, think about, I'm going to reference a soup can a little bit. So if you're thinking about the lateral area, that lateral area is going to be the label. So if I take off the label, that's going to be the lateral area. So we can also describe that as the curved part. No bases. Still no bases, just the curved part. Now, it's not as easy as finding the area of the rectangles as the prism. We got to think about this a little bit. If you go over to here, and let's go ahead and draw a cylinder. So draw 2 vertical lines and connect the ends with kind of a U shape. And then an oval. Okay, close those U's with an oval. Okay, so again, think about a soup can. If I take off the label, if I peel off the label and I lay it flat, that shape is going to be a rectangle. Okay, so I think about, all right, well, how do I find the area of a rectangle? Well, that's easy. That's going to be the base, or the length, times the width, or the base times the height. Okay, well, a circle, if I roll this back up, it really doesn't have a base. I can't just say it's a diameter, because that's different. That's going to go through the object. I want to make sure that this label is this whole distance. So if you imagine wrapping this label back up, you're really wrapping this around the circle one time. So if I talk about around the circle, this base I label as B, wrapped around the circle once, that around the circle means the circumference. So this base, or the circumference, times the height of the cylinder is going to give you that curved region, that lateral area. So to find your lateral area, you're going to take the circumference times your height. Okay, and remember the circumference of a circle, cherry pie is awesome, or sorry, delicious, I keep screwing that up. Cherry pie is delicious, so pi times diameter times your height will give you the lateral area of a cylinder. So let's go ahead and practice doing that. So if I have a cylinder with a radius of 5, that means the diameter is going to be 10. So my lateral area is going to equal 10 pi, because that's the circumference, times the height of 12. So my lateral area will equal 120 pi. Now to go on to the surface area, I'm going to take the lateral area, and just like the prisms, I'm just going to add the area of the two bases. In this case, what's the shape of the base? I hope you said circle. So if you said circle, woohoo, good job. We've got two circles here. One on the top, one on the bottom. They're both the same size. So for surface area, I'm going to take what I found below, the lateral area of 120 pi, and I'm going to add the area of two circles. So 2 times 5 squared pi. This is going to equal 120 pi plus 50 pi, which will give me a grand total of 170 pi for my surface area. Alright, hope you're doing okay so far. Hang in there. The next thing is volume. Volume, good news. It's the same as a prism. You're going to take the same idea. It's going to be the area of the base times the height. In this case, not like your prisms. Your prism that we found was a triangle, or like I said, it could be a square. In a cylinder, your bases are always circles, so it's really the area of the circle times the height. And again, the height is what connects the two bases, the distance that connects the two bases. So if here's one base, here's the other base, the line that connects both of those is this distance, which is 12. So for volume, I'm going to take the area of the base, which was 25 pi, and I'm going to multiply that by 12. That's going to give us, I think it's 300. Let me just check. Yep. So you can get 300 pi for your volume. And that's what a cylinder is. You got one more.